Cool. We got a Lala cameo. Would you call it a cameo? Lala was mentioned at that. We'll just leave it at that. Lala was mentioned. The Lala song comes out of nowhere, and all the non-Gundam fans are like, "What? What's a Lala song?" I think that was pretty much the only thing that was kind of mentioned in this episode that was like out of left field. Like, okay, what are they talking about? This song, which does technically play into a theory that was kind of brewing for me as I started this episode. Like out of nowhere, yes, kind of piggybacking off the last episode impressions, I had this theory of, you know, the whole teeth thing. This Gundam has teeth. Okay, are we going to do the whole Evangelion thing where these things are like biological machines, like they're part human of some sort? And as I started getting this episode, that theory started kind of spinning more and more as I started thinking, I wonder if Char is inside the Red Gundam. That if this thing itself is, you know, it is the Red Comet. Everybody's like, is this the Red Comet? It literally is the Red Comet. That Char himself, the Red Comet, has become the Red Gundam. And that's what's talking to Shuji. Because Shuji's always talking to it. And you have Nan and Machu over here going, yeah, I don't think you can actually talk to a Gundam. The Gundam says that he wants to go there. I don't think Gundams actually talk. Maybe it is. Maybe it's Char inside of there. But then towards the later part, having the whole Lala song come into the picture, I'm like, is Lala in there? Like, I mean, they could be both. Like, that whole Zeknova thing that happened could have been an aspect that caused sort of a fusing to happen. And so this Red Gundam that Shuji is piloting could somehow have Char or Lala inside of it. Lala is a very prominent figure in the original Gundam series, if I remember correctly, and the Gundam fans down in the comments down below will correct me, so you can go check there to make sure. She was a Newtype, and it was somebody that Char had actually found. I think she became the pilot of like the first use of the Saikamu. So like she was like the initial use of that, being a Newtype and everything like that. And Char and her were like going everywhere together. And at some point, Amuro meets her, and they have a really strong bond through their Newtype. And Amuro pretty much falls in love with her. And now it could be sort of caused by the Newtype aspect, because they form like a really strong bond with that Newtype. And this becomes like a love rivalry thing going in the future. Like, we don't know exactly what's happened to her in this universe, but something happens in the original Gundam series, and it causes pretty much Char and Amuro to always have this sort of, you know, rivalry / vengeance things going on between the two of them. So I don't know where she's at in GQuuuuuX. And again, it could be that she's fused with this thing. So she's actually here present in this actual show. But we'll see. I think it's just very kind of suspicious that this Red Gundam is seemingly causing it, or Shuji himself is causing it. Something is causing it in this vicinity. And that song, the Lala song, only happened whenever Lala was piloting and attacking. It was suddenly the song starts going off. So it could be connected here. There could be a presence of her in this situation here. But that's all you really need to know for this series so far, is that she was this, you know, Newtype that Char was working with for a long time. Char and Amuro kind of had a love fight for her. There was a little bit of a love spat happening there. But anyways, Back to this show. That's actually a very interesting concept there. I think that will be a really interesting thing to kind of get into if Shuji himself, again, unless he somehow manufactures some sort of clone of some sort, could he be a clone of Lala? He seems to be a little bit off. I mean, Lala, I don't remember being that off. She was very much so not like your ordinary pilot. Like, people didn't really like her. Like, she was just kind of, she was a normal person. She wasn't like a battle-ready soldier like everybody else. She was kind of out of her zone, for sure. And Shuji seems to be out of his zone completely. This dude's out of it, which does make me really kind of beg the question about what's going to happen in the coming episodes. I have a little bit of a conflict here in my mind about exactly how Machu's going to respond, because, yeah, I feel it too. With the end of this episode, with the end of episode 4, I don't really like Shuji. And yes, it comes with the fact that we've seen so much of this new character and how she was essentially so driven by the hatred of Newtypes. She wanted to take down this Gundam. This Gundam took something special from her, took her ma from her. She wanted revenge. And yes, the question mark there is it even the same person? She doesn't know. She's just angry. She's just angry, and she wants to get this out. This is something that she couldn't leave behind. Even though the war's over, it's stuck with her. It's continuing to stick with her. Even though she has a family now and everything, she has a family to return to, a son. This has stuck with her, and she wants to get her revenge. This is unfinished business, basically, for her. And it's triggered now that this has shown up again. I want to take this down so I can have this fulfillment from it. So yeah, there is an element here that Shuji is just defending himself. She's going crazy. She won't stop. She was pretty much done. And that's the struggle part there, is they're doing this duel, and she's not giving up. She wants him dead. And she's pretty much used everything, and he's evaded it. She's broken at that point. I think that if he were to cut off one more limb, she'd be pretty much disabled. But he goes for the kill. He goes for the kill instead. And you could say that after this duel, she loses, she's still going to pursue him. That's the problem. But I think she sort of did have a realization there at the very end that could have led to her just walking away. But instead, he killed her. And he killed her in a way that really felt like he just didn't care. It was just so nonchalant. And even Machu picks up on that. He has this determination that you need in order to get to where he's at. He's got that much, and I don't have that. That kind of thing there. But I don't think it's going to stick with her. I really honestly don't think it's going to stick with her. I think she's just going to so blindly just go, shrug, okay, still chasing after Shuji, because this episode, she's obsessed with him. We've seen an episode for that. Machu has an obsession with Shuji, like an almost unhealthy obsession. And I really do think a lot of that, if they're writing this correctly, I think a lot of that's going to be driven by the Newtype. There is an element here when there's a connection made with the Newtype, it makes this strong bond that you just get obsessed with something. And that's something that, again, back in the original series, Char, Amuro, Lala, they had that thing going on. They make that connection, and suddenly there's like a bond that happens between two of them. It's almost like a kiss. Like you have made and established that nobody else around you have made in that moment. It becomes very intimate. And so I do feel like that's sort of what's happening with Machu and Shuji, because she keeps talking about him. Now, it can be sort of dressed down a little bit here to a simplicity of it's just a girl that doesn't like her current situation. We see a couple scenes in this episode where Machu doesn't really feel like she has a drive. She's just going to school. You know, back here in the first episode, she's just kind of chilling there, thinking about Earth. And now suddenly all this exciting stuff is happening. She's made this bond with Shuji. They're fighting together. They've won 4 battles. They're comrades in arms, basically, in these duels. They're winning. They're doing all this cool stuff together. He's talking about going to Earth. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want to go to Earth too. She's always dreamed about going to Earth. She's getting a taste of somebody with freedom. And she wants that. She wants to be just like him. She wants to run off with this guy because he's seeking out a lot of these cool stuff. Because he's seeking out so much cool stuff that I can't currently have. It is a revolting child. We can kind of dumb it down to that simple. And again, or we can tie it into the Newtype aspect, or just simply both of them together. Why not both? I think that's what they're doing here. And that's what's going to make going in the next episode kind of feel a little off, for me anyways, is that whole thing of like, you literally just saw him stuck a lightsaber through the cockpit and obliterated her. Like literally burnt her to atoms. Hey, Shuji, what are we doing today? It seems like it's bothering her right here, but I hope it doesn't just shrug it off. I just hope it doesn't just shrug it off, because that's what's going to make it really frustrating. Unfortunately, based on the previews for the next episode, it doesn't look like anything in that preview is showing that she's going, oh, this dude's like a killer, and he doesn't seem to care. He's got some dead-eye action going on. He sniffed me earlier, and now he's obliterating somebody else. Is this a cool guy to be around? But again, it does go in that whole realm of them being in totally different worlds. And again, it's going to probably predicate on who is he? Again, is he a test tube baby? Is he a child soldier? All these different things can come into picture. So we'll see. We'll see. But what about what I just dived into this episode? Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Yeah, getting more Shalia this episode, just kind of chilling. I love it was playing into what I was talking about last episode, was like the whole opening sequence is literally Shalia going and geeking out over how Machu is just handling this thing so well. Man, not anybody could do this kind of stuff. Cool stuff. And yeah, if we can find him, we can find the red Gundam too. Yeah, this is cool. She's over there going, sir, there's reports that if Sakamas resonate, it could cause a Zeknova. Yeah, this is really cool. Not many people could use those Saikamus, and a Mega Saikamu. Really cool. Why are you happy about this, Commander? This chick is like, Commander, wake up. Wake up. But an interesting scene after this, we obviously have a lot of people who are still upset that this ship is still here. Like, they got their dude back. Why is this ship still here? There's like, people are like rioting, like, what the hell is going on here? And we had a conversation talking about currently what's going on with the Zeons, which is something, again, I think I kind of predicted was going to be going on, is that, yeah, even though the Zeon won, it hasn't really indicated to us who all's still present in the Zobbies family, which, again, the Zobbies are the family that is heading the Zeon. And one of the things that they got really into with the original Gundam was that the especially Garen and Cassilia, they don't like each other. These two don't like each other. So they're right here confirming that there is a conflict between the two of them. Zeon has won, but these two, this brother and sister, they don't like each other. And that's what currently, as they're saying, currently there's a family feud happening. So it's kind of just playing off that. They no longer have this enemy, so the enemy is within themselves now. So that was interesting to get a kind of confirmation there about exactly what's going on with the Zeons and the head of the family. But it specifically says the only thing standing in their way is the red mobile suit, questioning if Char could have survived. So they're implying here that Char himself, they're probably more implying the idea that Char, if he's still alive, he would tip the scales. Depending on who he sides with, it'll probably tip the scales. Not the idea that he himself will stand in their way, just one of them, he's probably going to be in their way. I don't know. They could be implying that Char himself takes the crown. I doubt that, though. I mean, I would believe anything. When it comes to Char, believe anything. But that's when we get a little bit into Machu and her current circumstances again, career opportunities. She chose to be a jellyfish. You said I could be whatever I want. I want to be a jellyfish. But again, I think a lot of that is driven by the fact that this is a girl that's revolting. And again, she has an out right now. She really does have an out right now, and that is piloting the Gundams. She's having fun doing this. And again, I think a lot of what Shuji is saying, he's the bad boy in the neighborhood. He's the bad boy in the neighborhood that showed up on his bike, and he is saying, I want to go to Vegas. And she thinks it's cool. But I love the conversation between Machu and Nyan, because I think this is sort of something that we haven't really gotten too much into so far that I think needs to be developed, because I'm assuming the two of them are going to be pretty strongly connected, is really just kind of having a moment, a heart-to-heart between the two of them. Whereas Nyan really does feel like she is grounded, and it's probably the fact that this girl has probably been through a lot more hard trouble than Machu. Machu seems to have a decently stable family, decently stable place to live, whereas, yes, they've implied Nyan herself is struggling to survive. She's trying to make her own living. She's basically a courier. And yeah, she's currently looking for other work. Yeah, seems like the black market folks, they're looking for this red Gundam. If you can give me some information on this, I don't know. I can see it happening. I can honestly see it happening. I can see Nyan ratting them out, but I don't think it's going to be because she wants the money. I think Nyan is, especially after this episode, I can see Nyan choosing to rat out where Shuji is because she knows where it's at. I can see her ratting it out just based on the fact that this is dangerous. And it could be a decent small bond here between her and Machu, where she sees that Machu's in danger and sees a win-win here. I get my money, she's not too connected to Shuji, and Machu is running around with somebody that is a killer. This guy killed this soldier. And not that Nyan cares about, or I don't think she even met her, does she? Yeah, I don't even think she met Chico. Either way, she just watched somebody get killed on this live stream, and it was Shuji. This guy's bad news. So I can see her ratting out where the Gundam is just to remove Machu from that situation. I can totally see it. But again, getting into the whole idea that apparently this Gundam has told Shuji that it wants to go to Earth. He's currently trying to get money together in order to get a shuttle ship, and they're going to Earth because, as we find out later on, it's looking for a rose. I don't recall, again, going to my theory earlier about Char/Lala being within this Gundam, I don't recall specifically if there was a mention of a rose. And I think that'll probably be a telling thing, and I probably should have looked at that first. I don't recall if they ever talked about a rose specifically. I want to say, and again, I could be wrong here, I want to say that Lala wanted to go to Earth, but I don't remember specifically. Either way, I think that could be a telling thing there that maybe look up at some point, is if there's any sort of sign there. Because the Gundam itself apparently is saying that it's looking for this. Not Shuji. Shuji's just doing whatever the Gundam says. The Gundam said to go to Earth, wants to get this rose. I'm doing that. That's all I care about. I'm hungry. I wish the Gundam would tell Shuji to eat something. Have we seen Shuji eat anything? I don't think we've ever seen him eat anything. I think he's like perpetually hungry. Like, again, he's just not really needing to eat. He just wants to eat. Again, I'm getting weird ideas here. But yeah, then we have the appearance of Chico Sugai, which is the witch that was in the 1 Year War. I don't recall her being in the original Gundam, so I don't think we're really missing anything here. With how unique she looks to this show, the character designs of this show, I doubt she's even in the original series. But yeah, she's apparently one that's killed over 100. We find out later that that's apparently due to her little strategy where she used a hook in order to get in close, kind of darting around them and everything, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, she wants revenge. She has a family and everything. She's, retired and everything. The war is over, but apparently she wants revenge. She wants to take down... It was specifically the Red Gundam. It was specifically Char, unless it was another Red Gundam in that period of time. They haven't implied there being another Gundam. Specifically after Char, after the Red Gundam, because they took out, as we find out later on, their Mav. and they want revenge. I didn't really get too much out of the conversation with Machu later on. It did feel a little overly convoluted. But Machu is pointing out the obvious fact that you have a kid and everything. Why don't you just focus on that? Why are you so concerned with this one thing? But she said you have to give up something in order to get something. I'm assuming talking about giving up, family, putting family to a side in order to go gain something. If we can have everything we want, how happy would that make you? And that maybe it's easier for new types. And I'm assuming right here she's saying basically it's probably easier for you new types, Machu, because, yeah, she already knows that, or she's assuming that this Shuji guy is a new type, and probably assuming that Machu is a new type as well. Maybe possibly even getting information on what they're currently piloting, that they have this Saikamu. But either way, she's implying that this is something that's easy to obtain for those that are new types. Again, this conversation sort of just implies to me that she just wants this thing again. She wants this thing again, which sort of gave me a feeling that that was the case. As we do see them go into the actual fight, yeah, it does seem like she's obsessed with this. Like, this is getting back something that she wanted. I think it was Anki later on mentioned that, no, this isn't revenge. This is obsession. This girl's got an obsession. But yeah, she's going crazy with it. She's feeling this pressure and whatnot from the Red Gundam again. It seems like it's exhilarating her. Like, is this her chance again? But additionally, it kind of gets a lot into the idea that she's more angry. Like, this isn't what you are. Like, you aren't special. And yeah, it kind of bleeds off of what they were kind of getting into when she was first doing her initial tests. Like, they were seeing if she was good enough to be able to go out there and pilot and take down this Red Gundam. Yeah, it seems like these security groups and whatnot are trying to get in on this money for this Red Gundam. Or maybe capture it themselves. But yeah, she doesn't seem like she likes new types. They're mentioning, yeah, it seems like you could be a new type. And that kind of made her flinch. Obviously, again, because Char was a new type, making a connection there that she doesn't like new types. You're basically saying that I am one of them, one of their types that did these horrible things that I'm angry about. You're saying I'm one of them. I don't like that. And so right here, yeah, she just doesn't think this thing's as special as what Char was. But yes, despite not liking that, the guy was right. As at some point, Chico does awaken to new type and does get that connection with Shuji. Even though it does seem like she doesn't want to believe that it happens. Like, she doesn't believe that there's existence of new types. They don't exist, whatever. It's one of those cases where you can't really deny it when you're experiencing it yourself. But yeah, the three of them all link into each other. The Lala stuff comes out, and yeah, she goes in for the final attack before Shuji teleports behind her and stabs her in the back, killing her off. I do like the words that Shalia had here, which is pretty much to the credit of the entire episode. The theme here is somebody that just could not leave that world behind. And they've kind of implied that Shalia is the same case, where he doesn't feel like the war itself is over. People imply that he doesn't think the war is over. That this is somebody that moved on, tried to have a normal life, but it doesn't seem like they were able to leave the battlefield behind. And when they had this chance at possibly reliving it, and again, taking down this one target that got away, she decided to rush towards it, rush right into death itself. And it's all driven by, how Shalia says it, yeah, new types have killed a lot of people, and that has produced a lot of hatred. Again, similar to what Anki's saying, it's an obsession. Shalia is saying that it is a hatred. And I think it's going to be basically the both. The obsession is caused by the hatred. The war itself, unfortunately, for those that have been on the battlefield, is never over. They're never able to leave it behind. This is a PTSD situation here. That's what they're sort of getting into with her character. She left the battlefield behind, but the battlefield did not leave her behind. And yeah, that all wraps up with, again, Machu going, oh my gosh, he's so far away. Can I keep up with him? Which, again, I hope they do decently well with. And again, if you're going to go the route of Machu having sort of a new type obsession connection with Shuji, at least I hope they do well in kind of explaining it. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that's pretty much it. I think that was pretty much it in the episode. Really, really solid episode. Even though I think a single episode, if even that, like more like a half an episode given to a character like Chico, I think it did well enough in kind of portraying her character as a mother that's going back onto the battlefield. At the same time, it would probably done better if it was at least a full episode dedicated to her, or maybe possibly 2 episodes with, an episode worth sprinkled between the two. But either way, it was still solidly portrayed. And again, loved hearing Lala out of nowhere. If I remember correctly, I did like Lala's character way back then. But anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment. Let me know what's thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel before you leave. Like this content, you want to support channel more, links to the script below. Greatly appreciate it. Until next time, y'all take care. La. I remember the la from the old series. Amuro, every time he sensed her, la.